So I think in every athlete's career, there comes a day where you just sit and wonder, what am I doing? Why do I wake up every day and put myself in so much pain? For me, that moment definitely hit frequently last year. I realized as I was beginning to take myself out of the sport that I wasn't done yet. I wasn't done being an athlete. And I knew that if I walked away this year, I could regret it forever. What I realized is I didn't start becoming a professional athlete, and I didn't get into this to necessarily race. There's always a reason. For me, it was I got to ride my bike to my friends' houses as a young kid. I couldn't drive yet, and I loved that sense of freedom. I loved checking out new roads, seeing new places. That's why I fell in love with my bike. I love pushing my limits and seeing how far I could go and how fast. If you want to make a career out of what you truly love, you're sort of funneled into a couple options. As a cyclist, you either race, try to get podiums, or you do some crazy tricks. So I'm a racer. I push my body to the limits, and that's how I've identified myself over the last 5 years. Simply lining up to beat people is not enough for me to put in the daily grind and making the sacrifices of being a professional athlete. So I decided that I needed to take a deep, hard look at myself and think, why am I doing this? What do I really want out of this career? With that being said, I realized that I needed to get back to my roots of why I ride my bike. I just knew that I couldn't walk away this year because I don't feel like I've reached my potential as an athlete. And maybe other people feel like that too, and other people train, and that's the big motivation, is we want to fulfill our potential as human beings. That's something that we need. I'm really involved with the Steamboat Gravel race, and I'm also comfortable and familiar with the Leadville, the Lifetime Race Series, the Leadville 100 in particular. I've done those races a bunch, and they plan them on the same weekend, and a lot of people like to do both. They said, let's offer this LeadBoat challenge where you do the Leadville, and then the next day you do the Steamboat Gravel race. The one is one of the hardest mountain bike races in the world, and the other is a 140-mile gravel race in Steamboat. Both A races, brutal days in their own right. And they said, who wants to go do both of these? So I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, are you gonna do it? And she says, oh, well, I thought you were supposed to ride your bike from Leadville to Steamboat as well. It's 120 miles from Leadville to Steamboat. I mean, you don't get done with Leadville until, even if you're really, one of the top guys, until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then Steamboat starts the next morning. What if I rode my bike from Boulder and did all of these races without ever touching a car? Like, that's why I started riding. The freedom of going places without getting in traffic, without getting in a car, that sort of human-powered transportation. It's 100 and something miles to Leadville, and then doing Leadville, and then doing Steamboat, but riding between. I think this is it. I'm so excited about this ride. I can do some really cool, fun, adventurous ride to Leadville. What if I could put together a route that's all just roads I've never seen? I mean, I love that. That's the reason I get on my bike every day. I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but I'm riding from Boulder to Leadville on my mountain bike, backcountry route, racing the Leadville 100, going for my top result ever, immediately following, jumping on my bike, 120 miles, getting a support system with me. Next morning, Steamboat Gravel, the black version, 140 miles, and then party back on gravel roads back to Boulder, finishing the loop. So yeah, that is what I'm up to this year. I really hope that by subscribing to this channel and following along on my journey, that you have the tools and inspiration and hopefully some motivation that you can take on something like this in your own life that feels a little scary, but feels kind of right and exciting at the same time.